Hi, welcome. My name is Pavle Levi. I'm a professor of film studies, and I'm chair of the Department of Art and Art History. And I wish to welcome you all to this wonderful, wonderful event. The atmosphere, the food, and of course, the work in the Vitrine gallery is outstanding. So a round of applause, please. I will just say a few words. First and foremost, I speak for my colleagues and students and staff when I say that we are really happy to be engaging in this collaboration with DAAAS. It's neither the first nor the last of collaborations with Ato, Katie, and we, in fact, while we're still working out the kinks, are hoping to have a filmmaker from Ghana in the department in January, Notama Bodomo. So more info to follow. This collaboration has something unique about it, or something really special about it, and that is that it's all about students, about student work, which we're showcasing. The work itself was done on being overseas study seminars, so that corner of Stanford is involved as well. So many aspects of the university came together, departments and other programs, in making this happen. Before I turn the floor to Ato, I would just like to say or finish on a personal note. My office is here inside this big office, and I had the pleasure and the privilege of watching the exhibition actually come up in stages. I would like to very much thank Gabriel Harrison and Daniel Brickman for putting it up. Amazing work. Thank you, Julianne Garcia, for also collaborating with AAAS on having the opening reception happen. As I was watching the show come up, I was watching and admiring paintings, and then one day I find myself in a situation of a surprise, of a kind of something really sticking out at me from the photos. Something that turns out to be incredibly explainable, as I will explain, but initially was rather jarring. I'm standing and watching the photos, and I see in one of the photos, which depicts a corner of two streets, one of the avenues is called Josip Broz Tito Avenue. I come from the former Yugoslavia, socialist Yugoslavia, of which Josip Broz Tito was a president. I was really surprised initially to see Tito's name on the wall of the Vitrine Gallery in 2024. And pleasantly surprised, don't get me wrong. And of course, it's all very easily explainable because Ghana and Yugoslavia were the founding countries of the non-aligned movement, which is why there has been for many decades very strong collaboration between Yugoslavia and Ghana. So all I want to say in the end is, may our collaborations continue to be as productive as were the many collaborations of the non-aligned countries at the height of the movement's history. I turn the floor to Ato Quayson.
So, Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago.
Amen.
Ago. So in Ghana, that's how we call attention. So when you want to speak, you say Ago, and the response is Amen. It's like we are listening. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us this reception, the opening reception for the Urban Ghana Photography Exhibition. It was started as part of the Being Overseas Studies program, summer program in Accra. And it's the first time actually that we implemented this photography element. So we've run this program, summer program in Accra for, this is the third iteration. This summer was the third iteration. And what we basically do is that we use Accra as a place for developing a toolkit for urban concepts and methods. So that's the first thing. So Accra is the venue, but actually it's a ruse. It's also an alibi. So it's a venue and an alibi at the same time, because what we want is to get students to use Accra to develop set of concepts and methods. The principle behind this is that in urban studies, those of you in urban studies will bear me out, it is completely normal to deploy global north towns and cities such as Paris, New York, and London as the sources of theory. So if you want to understand the sources of theorization, you look to Paris, you look to New York. But if you want to get a sense of urban crisis, you look to the global south. You look to Rio or Calcutta or Accra. My own thinking is that wherever you are standing, you can use it to understand the world. So the fact that you come from a small town in India or South Africa or Argentina doesn't mean that you do not have the capacity to dream of a new world. So the people in New York do not have a monopoly over dreaming. So part of the objective, or the second objective of the course, was also to get students to use Accra as a way of thinking of other cities. And this was wonderful. There are many things that they themselves will share, but they used Accra to jolt their recognition of how other cities work. And all from the vantage point of the innocent and sometimes quite chaotic Accra. However, one thing that I'm very delighted about this particular setting, apart from the continuing collaboration between Yugoslavia and Ghana and the non-aligned movement, very important, is also that most of the students will bear me out on this. Stanford is very quiet. It's very quiet. In Accra, you are enveloped by sounds of all kinds. Music is blaring all over the place. People are dancing on the streets for no accountable reason. So even the way of bearing oneself in the cityscape is different from here. So when we arrive here, at least I speak for myself, you have to re-invoke a certain mode of discipline for your body. So you would find it strange if you saw me walking down Jane Stanford Way, dancing a jig as I went along. You'd find that, has the prof lost his mind finally? So this is also a way to recall those wonderful experiences that we all had in Accra. But I want to introduce the one and only, the one who actually helped. Not actually helped, she did it almost single-handedly. So the idea for getting cameras for all the students and for them to take photos and to document their 4-week stay was mine. It was in the syllabus. But actually, an idea is nothing without a revolutionary practitioner. And our revolutionary practitioner is none other than Katie Dieter. I have, it's not even a joke. I have borne witness to how much thought, effort, and actually practice that she put into getting these photos printed, framed, and it was one. I would go to her office and she'd be sweating when the air condition was on. Now, Katie Dieter is the Director of Advanced Studies and Community Engaged Learning in the Department of African and African American Studies here at Stanford. She served as Associate Director of the Program in African and African American Studies from 2020 to 2023. Before arriving at Stanford, she was a faculty member at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts in Kingston, and adjunct faculty at the University of West Indies, Mona, in cultural studies. With a background in African American and African diaspora studies, gender studies, and studio art, Katie's research and art focus on the ways the visual and performing arts can be used as methods of knowledge production and resistance, often combining themes of Black diasporic identity, personal narrative, and meanings of home and belonging. Katie is thrilled to teach. This is really important. So let's let this noisy car pass, this noisy bus. Katie is thrilled to teach an upcoming global seminar through Bing Overseas Studies program in the summer of 2025 in Kingston, Jamaica. That's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. I mean, she's been telling me, and I'm just agog in excitement. In the course titled The Arts in Jamaica, Exploring Knowledge Production, Community and Resistance, students will analyze how artistic expressions in Jamaica have historically shaped representations of Black identity, liberation, and cultural heritage through theoretical exploration, field trips, and sustained interaction with local artists, scholars, and students. So please put your hands together for our practicing revolutionary.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, thank you so much. It is bringing me so much joy to see so much life in this space. Folks that I know from all over the Bay, from campus, coming together. I'm just so deeply honored to be here, to welcome you into the space. Welcome to the Urban Ghana Photography Exhibition. This has truly, truly been a collaborative journey. Nothing is done in a vacuum. I did not do this on my own, right? It's absolutely a partnership between the Department of Art and Art History, the Department of African and African American Studies, and also, of course, Stanford Bing Overseas Studies program. This global seminar that was taught by Professor Ato Quayson that he just gave us a taste of. This work is a culmination of the students from that class. So there were 16 Stanford students in that class, along with 6 students from Ghana, who are students at the University of Ghana, some of which have recently graduated, which is fantastic. All of the students in the class have at least one photograph represented in the exhibition. So I had the great privilege while I was in Ghana of working closely with these students, engaging in critiques, in one-on-one consultations, and also some really deep conversations about the complexities of representation. So together, we explored these deeper questions about power, right? The power of the lens, the power of photography, the power of the image. So considering who is behind the lens and what are the ethical implications of photographing in a place like Ghana as Stanford students. And these students really face these questions head on, seeking ways to challenge often reductive or stereotypical images of Africa, and instead offered us a nuanced, layered narratives that reflect the complexities of urban life in Ghana. Their journey was also supported in part by the Deccan Center, which is a photography academy, gallery, and archive in Ghana. So the students were paired up with Ghanaian photographers who not only helped develop their technical skills, but also a more profound understanding of what it means to document life in a way that respects the truth and dignity of the subjects that they're working with. So what you see in this exhibition is a result of these collaborative efforts. These photographs here invite us to think critically about themes of place, of identity, of belonging. And through these images, the students really explore the political, social, and cultural fabric of Ghana. So we can see glimpses of everyday life, from the vibrancy of market scenes to the quiet power of a funeral poster, the details of African hairstyles, the dynamic nightlife of Accra, themes of traversal, of infrastructure and marketing, and the intimate moments of platonic affection that unfold in urban spaces. These images speak to a broader narrative about how cities like Accra reflect tradition, innovation, routine, and the remarkable. One of the things, I think it was in the first session I had with students, was I had them tell me what images they often see coming out of Africa, photographs, right? So thinking of National Geographic, we often see images of poverty, of children, right? Of rural spaces. And so then we also explored what kind of images do you not typically see coming out of Africa, right? So students mentioned professionalism, city life, relationships, etc., right? And so these are all an exploration of these kinds of ideas that we talked about in the class. I believe this exhibition asks us to reconsider the stories that urban spaces tell and to challenge the perspectives we may bring into them. Of course, photography is not a neutral medium, which is a concept, again, that we talked about in the course. Photography frames narratives and challenges the viewer's notion of truth and reality. And so through this exhibition, we hope to deepen the conversation about the roles that identity, power, and space play in shaping urban life. Curating this exhibition has been a truly incredibly rewarding experience for me as an artist and Black Studies scholar. This is really bringing together my two most favorite things that I could possibly do, along with working with students. And so watching these students develop their voices through photography while also reflecting on their own perceptions of and positions, right, has expanded my own understanding of how we can use art to engage with complex issues and environments. So I hope as you move through the space and experience these photographs that you will also begin to see Ghana's urban landscape through new eyes. So I truly want to emphasize the collaborative nature of this project, of this exhibition, is really a steadfast commitment of numerous individuals and units across campus. So I would like to name some of them because I feel that is truly very, very important. So first, of course, I want to thank Professor Ato Quayson for trusting me with the curation of this exhibition and engaging with the students. I'm also could not tell you how incredibly grateful I am for the openness and reflexive attitudes of the students in the class. The students all were so just inspiring and just such a beautiful experience to work with all of you. And so I'm seriously so grateful. And without their work, this exhibition wouldn't exist. So you all did a fantastic job. I also want to quickly shout out Officer Reginald. Yes. And Chep Cheer Cheer, who's here somewhere. Yes. Hey. They both really ensure that the students are taken care of in Ghana and really provide a lot of incredible support for the course. I am also just so deeply grateful to the Department of Art and Art History, particularly to the chair, Pavle. Really, really appreciate you with us coming to you with this idea and you just so willingly wanting to collaborate. It's been a true pleasure. Also, of course, to Gabriel Harrison. Couldn't have done it without your help, without Daniel Brickman. The generosity and hard work from this department has just been incredible, and it's been a real pleasure to work with them. I also want to thank and acknowledge all of the folks at Bing Overseas Study who work so hard to put these global seminars together that provide such an incredibly rich experience for our students, for our faculty, and for anyone who gets to participate in these courses. I know that Jamila is here. I can see you. Yes, thank you. Dave, Adrian, everyone at Bing that makes these seminars, these global seminars happen. Just truly appreciate you. Also, a big thank you to Stanford D School, the design school. The D School printed all of the photographs that you see today on their amazing printer. And I have to shout out Mylan Drake for coordinating these efforts. I don't know if you're here, Mylan. Yes. Big shout out to Mylan. Yes, really, really appreciate you. And then lastly, of course, I want to thank everyone in the Department of African and African American Studies. Everything you're seeing here today, this event, the coordination of it, all that behind the scenes that happens is the work of our incredible staff, whom I am so grateful for. Sandra, Sasha, Ashante, Mashimi, appreciate you all so much. A special shout out and thank you to Sasha Jackson for making the booklet that you... Sasha did not have a ton of time to turn that around, and it looks amazing. So if you have not picked one up, please pick one up. It includes descriptions of all the photographs that were written by the students. You can also scan the QR code and get the booklet that way, if you choose. So to end, I really just want to drive home again that this exhibition is a real celebration of collaboration between myself, between the students, Professor Quayson, the Department of Art and Art History, Bing Overseas Study Programs, and the D School. I feel so deeply honored and inspired by the love and strength that is found in these communities and through collaboration. It's a true privilege to witness the transformative power of working together. So having you all as guests at this opening reception makes it even more special to me. So thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy this journey through urban Ghana as much as we have enjoyed putting it together for you. So thank you so much. So next, I have the great pleasure of introducing two students who have photographs in the exhibition who are here today to share their experiences with you. So I'm going to introduce them one at a time, but I will introduce our first student, who is Amari Porter. Amari is a current sophomore at Stanford, majoring in symbolic systems with a concentration in human-centered artificial intelligence. She is deeply passionate about leveraging technology to drive social change and is committed to mitigating racial bias in AI and addressing the funding disparity in the venture capital industry for minority-owned businesses. Her goal is to ensure that advancements in AI benefit everyone equitably and support diverse entrepreneurs in achieving their business aspirations. She serves as a teaching assistant and co-lead for the Stanford Social Entrepreneurship Student Association, a project director for Stanford Consulting, and a member of the executive board of the Black Student Union and the Stanford Symbolic Systems Society. She is a native South Floridian and loves the beach, trying new food. Her current favorite is Ghanaian egg stew. She loves her cats and photography. So I will turn it over to Amari.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. I'm so glad to be here speaking about my experience while studying in Ghana this summer. From our wonderful class lectures given by the amazing Prof. Quayson, to navigating Oxford Street to find fresh kelewele, being very wary of the trapdoor gutters, and most importantly, to creating long-lasting friendships amongst the brilliant people in our cohort. Both here at Stanford and in Accra, I feel more than proud to say that this August was truly a transformative experience for me. As a lover of photography, I was thrilled to hear that our experience in Ghana would include a photography class with the Decan Center and be presented here to share with you all. This opportunity exceeded my expectations. Not only was I able to explore and engage with the beauties of Ghana, but I was given the chance to capture my most profound discoveries in photographs that will remain with me forever. Some of them I have the great privilege to share with you today, and I hope they can serve as glimpses of the uniqueness and vibrancy of Ghana. For my project Hardheads, I wanted to encapsulate the quirks of urban life in Ghana that are not so mainstream, but integral to the culture, that being boxing matches and chochos. I'm glad to say my first ever live boxing match was at the Bukom Boxing Center during their Fight Night event. Surrounded by groundnuts, crowd chants, and Afrobeats blasting through the speakers, I was in awe of the intensity of the experience and wanted to emulate that through my lens. I am grateful I could freeze a moment of near perfect balance, as the boxers rested their heads together before one swung on the other. Here, I understood the beautiful melody between the technical, elegant movements of the body and the brute strength of the muscle, blending intimacy and aggression into a tradition integral to urban Ghana. Like I said before, when walking the streets of Accra, I had my head down a lot. And surprisingly, it was not because of my phone, but instead to avoid falling into the gutters. However, when a chocho would pass by, I always looked up, as my daily dose of serotonin came from reading the inscriptions on the back windows. The inscriptions allowed the driver to tell their story without telling it, and grant creativity with its interpretations. These mantras are completely abstract in their design and meaning. Dr. Jesus, the truth is one, fear women, carpe diem. You think to yourself, why would a driver paste this in bright, reflective yellow stickers for the world to see? Am I understanding this right? How can a chocho, something so foreign and far away, find its relatability to anyone's life? In my photo perspective, I aim to picture an inscription through the inside of a chocho, symbolizing the deeper significance of these inscriptions to the driver who chose it. The inside of a chocho serves as an outlet for people to be intimate despite being strangers. Whether a small exchange of words or a full-blown conversation, although in Ghana it is more likely the latter, the chochos act as the common place for interaction. Taking this photo from inside the van was purposeful, spotlighting the neon yellow "Na Ni Agoro," don't play with it. I wanted to replicate the perspectives of those that interact on the chochos daily and challenge themselves by relating their inscriptions to their own life context. This opportunity to reflect on the cherished moments in Accra means so much to me. Beyond a study abroad trip, I immersed myself entirely into a culture where genuine connection and creativity thrived. Though I so dearly miss my time in Accra, I want to thank Dr. Dieter, Prof. Chepchirchir, Ofisa Reggie, Mukoma, the Deacon Center, my amazing cohort in Ghana for the chance to share my glimpses of the amazing time I had through my camera lens. Medasi.
Thank you so much, Amari, for sharing. So our next student speaking this evening is Langston Budenhagen, who is a senior from Oakland, California, studying urban studies and pursuing a coterminal master's in public policy. He's passionate about understanding issues of equity in urban spaces and their corresponding policy solutions, and he loves engaging in art. Langston first encountered photography as a toddler, playing with his uncle and grandfather's cameras, and he cherished the opportunity to deepen his connection to the medium while studying abroad in Ghana. I welcome you, Langston.
Hi, everyone. Dr. Dieter, thank you for the introduction and for the chance to speak today. As mentioned in my introduction, I'm Langston, and I'm a proud Oaklander. Along with delicious food, a love of music, and a rich urban culture, this pride is one of the many things that Oakland and Accra share. They breed proud citizens, people who swell with chest-bursting love for our cities, and who take every chance they can to remind you where they come from, even if already mentioned in an introduction. It was a joy and a privilege to explore Accra, from behind the camera, from in front of the mango stand, and from alongside a wonderful cohort of passionate, kind, welcoming scholars. It was a joy to be welcomed into a new culture, welcomed with fufu and high life and open arms. Jollof. And that welcome is another thing that Accra and Oakland have in common, bringing in eager, respectful visitors with warmth and love. And one of the privileges of going to school so close to my home is that I get to play host on some weekends, like Professor Quayson got to do this summer. I get to share my home with my friends. And so I'll tell you one final thing that Oakland and Accra have in common, one thing that was the driving force behind my photographic explorations. One of Oakland's most cherished green spaces is Mountain View Cemetery. And I know that sounds spooky, but trust, it's beautiful. It was designed for visitors to amble through, not only paying homage to those who've passed, but also celebrating life by taking in sprawling views of the Bay Area. In this way, the cycle of life is integrated into the fabric of Oakland's culture. And I think this is why funeral posters in Accra caught my eye. Early in the program, I was on a quest for banku and okra stew. And while meandering, these posters kept catching my eye. Some were faded and some were fresh. Some were laptop-sized and others took up the entire walls of houses. And they all commemorated those who've passed. With a portrait, with a catchy title, something like Called to Glory, and most importantly, perhaps, the appropriate attire for each day of the celebration of life, these posters not only announced funeral celebrations, but they invited potential mourners to join. These posters were all different, but their last line was a near constant. All family and sympathizers welcome. Welcome. Even in mourning, all were welcome. In Accra, to me, death didn't feel tucked away. It felt publicized. Through funeral posters and funerals themselves, death became a visible, active part of the city's rhythm. In one of my pictures, a funeral poster is plastered onto a car's rear windshield, a roving announcement like the honking horn of the bicycle vendors selling samosas and rock buns, a nomadic welcome to the community. It was an honor to be welcomed to Accra, to which I can only say, medase. Thank you.
And thank you, Langston, for sharing with us as well. And I just want to thank everyone again who came today to join in this celebration of the opening exhibition. If you have not already, please pick up a booklet or scan the QR code. The booklet, descriptions, and photographs are in order in the gallery from the far left, top to bottom, as you move across. You don't have to look at it that way, but if you want to turn the pages and read the descriptions, you're welcome to do it that way. So please enjoy yourselves and take time to explore these images and the stories they tell. And in the spirit of photography, I would like to get a photo with any of the student artists who are here tonight. If we could just gather in front of the gallery, and if we could have a photo taken. And also, of course, Professor Quayson, Pavle, anyone, Mylan, anyone, Chepchirchir, folks who were involved in the collaborative effort of this process, I would like you to be in the photograph as well. So please join us. And thank you all again. I appreciate everyone.